So in a lot of the materials on the three principles, you hear a lot about understanding and the idea that all you need is to understand it, and then you'll have the improvements in your well-being or your clarity of mind or your experience of life. And a lot of times that doesn't make sense to people because we have a very specific definition of what understanding is, and it's not what you might think. So usually understanding means that you can make sense of something, that you comprehend it. And my definition of understanding is a little different, okay? So you can understand something intellectually, you can understand something theoretically, you can understand the logic of that something. That's not what I mean by understanding. What I mean by understanding is you see the fact of it, right? So you see the reality of something, that it's part of your grasp of what's real, right? And I'll give you a couple really good examples, what I think are really good examples of that. One is learning to drive. So there's a big difference between understanding how to drive. So when I was learning to drive, I understood how a clutch worked and how an accelerator worked. I couldn't drive. When I got in the car, I was still going like that. Because it wasn't real for me. I didn't grasp it. I didn't understand it. It was not a reality for me how it worked. It was just an idea. And the idea doesn't really help when you get in the car. And an understanding of the principle means that not understanding the logic of it, but seeing the fact of it. So sometimes people just say to me, well, I understand the principles, but it doesn't help me. And according to my definition, it's because you haven't understood it, that the idea of it makes sense. Maybe you've bought into it as a valuable way of looking at things. You like the idea of it. But the fact that our experience is nothing more than thought, the fact that it's all the same intelligence or energy in a different form, is not real to people. It's not a part of their reality. And I'll give you one more analogy of that. So when my kids were really little, they would jump around on the couch. And I would say to them, careful, you might fall off. Now they understood that intellectually, but they didn't really understand it because they were always falling off and hurting themselves. I shouldn't laugh. But after they fell off a couple times, they understood how gravity worked relative to the couch. And without thinking about it, without knowing it, the way they walked on the couch changed. And that, to me, is an example of something that became real to them that wasn't real to them before, that they couldn't absorb by me talking. They could only absorb it when they realized it themselves, and that's what we mean by understanding.